And dad jokes. When'd you start those?
Oh, well, I don't know. I've always had dad jokes. I had two good teachers.
Crack up.
I drive Kate mental now.
Yeah.
I dropped one the other day and she just looked at me and went, "Really?" Like, yes, really.
That's awesome. Dad jokes. Dad jokes is where we're at. Got any for us now?
Nah, nothing off the top of my head. Nah.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm on show.
It's
I'm on show. I've got nothing.
We're recording. We're in. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Drew McKenna with us, fellow dad, hence the dad joke reference. Although maybe we need to pick up our game a bit. My dad used to have about 8 dad joke books next to him, so where he sat on the toilet. And time well invested, I'm sure. But we've got Drew joining us today. Drew's a phenomenal athlete. Does his best. He's joining me in the headquarters, the RDM headquarters, and wanted to talk and share his story today. He does do training, mixture, CrossFit predominantly.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. And he's been in the Fireys for essentially 20 years, which is pretty cool. Just told me then. I knew he'd been a Firey, but it's a long time, man.
It is.
Would have seen a lot of things.
Yeah, fair bit. It was confronting when you said it's been nearly 20 years, and I went, wow, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. Started out with the bushies back when I was 18 in 99, and then got in the full-time brigades at March in 07.
Yeah, wow.
It's quite a journey.
Never looked back since?
No, not at all. Yeah. Straight in, onwards and upwards.
Yeah, unreal. So, and obviously your father as well.
Yep. Little girl, she's 5, and keeps me on my toes. Keeps me and the missus on the toes. She's a lot like me, so we can go toe to toe pretty well.
So she's got the good dad jokes as well.
Well, I don't know about dad jokes, but she's got plenty of fire in the belly anyway. Put it that way.
That's important. Yeah, that's what I try and help raise Stella and Lillian as she gets a bit older with. I think it's important for them to have that. So Fireys for 20 years. It's pretty amazing, man. Any close calls? Many?
Yeah, a few. Had a few back when with the bushies where fires got away on you, or other crews have done things it's just contributed to a perfect storm kind of thing, and you end up in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Had others where you don't actually know the severity of the job until later on when you look back at it and you go, I probably shouldn't have done that. But at the time, because the level of training that we have and PPE and all that kind of thing, you get there and you go, well, I'm prepared for it. This is my job. I've put my hand up to do it. And with the training and everything that we have, it's enough to you look at the risk, and it's calculated risk, where I look at a lot of other things and I go, I'm never doing that. I'm never going to go and bungee jump off a bridge because it's a perfectly good bridge. Why would I go and do that? But then I'll go into a burning house because I'm trained for it. And for me, it's calculated risk. I can control to a degree what my own safety as well.
Yeah.
So I've had a few where roofs come down on you when you're in the middle of a job and a roof comes down, or you get hit with roof tiles and things like that. A few explosions and electrical things, but it's not until later on that you go, well, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, or what we had to do, and then it did get pretty warm inside and that kind of thing. So,
yeah, unreal, man. Funny you talk about the heat. I went away last week out to a little farm area, and we created a little fire pit to roast some marshmallows, and the wind changed direction, and it was really warm really quickly on my legs, my arms, and my face. It was actually too much for Stella, and she was behind me, which made me think. I can't remember when, but there was one time where I felt the true heat of a flame, and it really gave me the idea of the magnitude. Like if an entire tree was on fire, right, you can feel that pretty far away, can't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's unreal, man. Like, what happens how hot does it get when you're in jobs or houses or all these things?
Houses, they vary in temperature from anywhere between 100 degrees to like 600, 700 degrees. Bushfires can get a little bit more intense, and they're wind driven, so it can jack up again. But it's hot. It's like it's not survivable.
Yeah, what are the suits designed to
They're designed for radiant heat. I'm off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what the actual degrees is, what the breaking strain and all that sort of stuff is for them. But they do take a lot of the radiant heat out of it and stop you from burning, obviously, and the flash burns and all that kind of thing. So it does take a lot out of it. And with the stuff that we have now, even though it's hot as on the inside, because it doesn't let the metabolic heat out, you're sweating the whole time. It's kind of a false sense of security compared to the older stuff that we had, where the older stuff, it would touch your arm and you go, oh man, that's hot, because you could feel the heat a bit more through it. The stuff now, you don't feel the heat so much. So you're kind of in an environment that you're not designed to be in. And if you're not careful, you can be in there too long, or you could be in a position where it's too hot for you. You should be coming out now. So it's one of those catch-22 things where you got to really be aware of your surroundings and what you're doing.
How do you gauge that then?
Just training and
whether you should be in or not.
Training and experience.
Seeing the flames on the tops of fires and knowing it can be X amount.
You get there and when you turn up to a job, you look at the job as to what the conditions are as well. Is it wind driven? What's the heat coming out? What's the flame heights and all that kind of thing. So it's not just you rock up, you go bowling in through the front door and you do the job and you go home. There's some jobs where you turn up and you go, I can't go into that. So then you're outside and you put it out from the outside. Or there's ways now that we can kind of knock down the initial risk and then go inside after we've knocked it down a little bit and taken the heat and fire out of it a bit before we go inside the building.
How big's the team usually, or varies?
Varies. All the stations where I'm at now all have 4 on a truck. So they have a motor driver, a station officer, and 2 fireys. And then from the escalation of the job depends on how many trucks turn up as well. So all trucks will have at least 4, unless it's a rescue, specialist rescue, or a specialist aerial appliance or a hazmat, and they generally run with 2. So, but they'll run with the pump. So you'll have the 4 guys there anyway, plus the 2 extras.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
these mate, pretty impressive stuff when you break it all down and what you actually do to get the result. And the outcome that's needed to obviously save lives and control the damage. But love to know why you got into that, but actually going back even one before that, mate, and just sharing a bit of your story with like growing up and whatnot, and some of the different challenges and adversities that you've been through that have led to, where you are now and in between why you got into the fireys.
It's one of them things. I was always the kid that wanted to be a fiery. And I don't know why. I was like 3 years old and wanted to be a fiery. And that's all I ever wanted to do. Remember, Mum and Dad's place was virtually backed onto bushland, or was across the road from the bush. So whenever we did have bushfires, it was when I was a kid, I was terrified. But I think it was more the adrenaline, and I didn't know how to control the adrenaline when I was a kid. Like you'd be standing there watching it, crying your eyes out, but going, I still want to do that at the same time. And that just sort of carried through. So that was my end game for my whole career, was to try and be a career fiery and get from where I had to be to there. Along the way, I grew up in the 90s. So that was when everyone turned around and said that fat was bad. So everything was low fat stuff, but then they jacked up the sugar and everything. And there wasn't a lot of education around meal sizes and stuff either, portion sizes. So I became a bit of a big kid growing up. It wasn't that the food that I was eating was bad. It was more the portion size. And in that era in the 90s, like Mum would go, I'm doing the right thing because I'm getting the low fat stuff. But she didn't know how to read a nutritional label, and the nutrition mob didn't tell you that, no, we're actually removing the fat and putting sugar in. So I ended up a heavy kid. I was about 21. I topped out at 120 kilos at 5'10". So it's not kind of too good. In that was, I've always played footy, but then with the footy culture came drinking beers and all that sort of stuff after training, after footy, pies and whatever you could get your hands on to eat kind of thing. And the info wasn't there. So I was a heavy guy, but I always had that goal of being in the fire brigade. and I had to get to 9.6 on the beep test and had to pass these fitness tests. So I started slowly chipping away at that to try and get the weight down, try and get faster, try and get past the fitness tests and all that kind of thing. It took me a long time to get into the job. But when I did, I weighed 100 kilos when I first got in, and now I weigh 84. And just through information, doing my own research, training, and my own nutrition, and being picked on as a kid, being a fat kid, I don't want my daughter to have to go through that either. And I'd never want anyone that I know or anyone at all to have to go through that, either as a kid or as an adult. So it's a place where, and you know yourself, you've always got that inner fat kid. So even though you look svelte on the outside and you might look amazing, you still feel like a fat kid from time to time on the inside. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're right, mate. No, it's true. It's true, man. Like it's funny. It was last summer, so it was probably about 12 months ago now, or just under. We were walking the dogs, and we go for a walk as a family because I live near the beach, and someone yelled out, "Put a shirt on, you fat C," and I couldn't believe it. I still got that little initial. It was a shock as well. Someone yelling very loud, the car hooning past, but still got that initial little jolt. And I'm in not bad shape now, but I was in phenomenal shape then, coming up, getting ready for the CrossFit Open, which will be soon. Yeah, I was in probably almost the best shape I've ever been. I just won a couple of comps too, and I still got that little fat boy inside. You do. Going, mate, maybe you should be a bit skinnier. Unreal, hey.
Yeah. So, even now, like as you say, you go to the gym and like you strip the shirt off because you sweat, and then you go, "That's just too hot. I've got to ditch it." Later on, you get every so often, just put a shirt on. You put some weight on, and it's all in jest. But the little fat kid inside goes, "Oh, come on, man."
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I've copped enough of this.
Yeah. I've been copping this shit for 30 years. Come on, give me a break.
Exactly. How about I showed it now, Bert? Let's drive.
Yeah.
It's funny. You actually sent me a picture the other day, and you went to school with Kate, who's your wife now.
Yeah. It's
When did you actually link up and start courting? Because I think you said you had a crush on her. Did you during school?
Yeah. I crushed on her hard when I was about 14.
What if she's going to be listening to this?
Well, even if she doesn't listen to it, she gives me heaps about it.
That's right.
I'm just totally honest with her, and I've told her that. Yeah. And I said, actually, I always thought you were a good sort. And I went, yeah. And here we are down the line. It was, we didn't meet back up again until 2007, about September, I think. But like we went to school together, went our separate ways, lived our own different lives, and we had a lot of mutual friends together. But we weren't kind of friends like as much like ourselves. Like I wouldn't go to her birthday party and she wouldn't come to my birthday party, kind of thing. But we had mutual friends. I was always really good friends with her little brother, Rick, and I always say this, that he had a ulterior motive to get us together for years, because like we'd go for beers and that, and he'd always tell me what Kate was up to, and he'd always tell Kate what I was up to, even though we're living different lives, still going our own different ways. And the night that we caught up and met back up again, she was moving to Sydney like that weekend, and I said, there's a few guys from school and that down there now, so like here's my number, let me know, we'll catch up and like it'll give you a network base. And she goes, yeah, cool, no worries. And then history down the line, this is where we are. And it was actually that Rick was out drinking with Kate that night that I ran into him, and that's how we all ended up intertwined again. So I even said that on our wedding night too. I went, Rick, stand up. It's probably your fault that we're all standing here now. So it was quite bizarre, especially when you tell people that you went to school together and they think that you've been together since school or the whole time, and you go, no, for nearly 10 years we just went our own way and then ended up. That's just how it went. So
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, and you said little one, she's 5.
5.
Yeah. Wow. So here we are, mate. You've gone. You've always wanted to be in the Fireys, and probably when you're in the, still had to work your way in, like you said, with performance and hitting those. The tests, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
you need to cover to get into.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, in each stage, it took me maybe 4 or 5 goes, maybe 5 goes to get in. And at that stage, it was every 2 years that they were recruiting. So you get knocked back one time, and then you get so far through the next time, and then you get knocked back, and then it was kind of like I just kept going until like war of attrition. I went, no, this is my job, and I'm going to get there, and so I just pushed it and got there. So it was good.
Yeah, that's awesome. What were you doing in the meantime?
I had a few different jobs. I started out as a gas fitting apprentice with it used to be I'm trying to think now. They've had that many names, but it was the old gas company, the old AGL, and I worked in conjunction with them and a training division, and so I became a gas fitter with them, and then a gas fitter, and then went from that into home installations. So like your domestic installation from the mains to the meters. Did a lot of stuff with like regulator and meter maintenance and all that kind of thing, and mains maintenance when I was with the gas company. But I ended up in the domestic side of it and the installations to the meters. Finished that and went into a fire mitigation role at Lake Macquarie Council, where I was just on the crew there. We'd go and put in fire breaks and fire trails and stuff and maintain those. That was a good job. I did that for a few years and ended up a team leader there when one of the other guys moved on, and I'd kind of hit the glass ceiling. That's as far as I could get for a long time, because we only had a crew of like 4 guys or 5 guys. So that was as far as I could get without having to branch into another crew. But like my passion lied within that fire protection, and that's where I love doing the job. I love being out in the bush, love being outside, and working with the crew that we had was really good as well. So that was a really good time in my life. But like I say, I hit that glass ceiling and I went, right after Fire Brigade came up again, and I went, I'm going to apply. And that was when I got in that time in 07.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then soon after then, you would have met Kate?
Yeah, it was. So that was March 07. And then Kate and I met up again in September of 07. Or thereabouts. Yeah.
All coming together, mate.
Yeah.
The little boy who could.
yeah, pretty much. It's where you get there and like if you look back on it now, you go, I got everything that I wanted when I was a kid. And so how good is life going? But then if you take the snapshot, you go, okay, that's what I wanted then. That's what I've got now. But then the hard work that went through that to get to that point was incredible. And so many twists and turns and ups and downs. And it just shows that, well, it was only sort of fortune that we met back up that night with Kate and I. But everything else leading up to that point, got the job, got everything else that I wanted. I was goal driven, and that's what I wanted. So I wasn't going to stop until that's what I got to. And so I made everything else work around it. And you get your setbacks, and then you go, okay, regroup, go again. And it's like life with everything. You just go, okay, I ate a shit sandwich this week, but next week will be fine. So, or it all comes back around eventually, whether it's next week, next year, but it all comes back.
It's fascinating, man. And credit to you for sticking the course and staying resilient with it when almost certainly most people give in or pack it in or settle for something. And mate, talk to us about, because those who aren't watching and listening, Drew's rocking the RDM shirt. He's one of our coaches now. He's our mindset coach and does a phenomenal job in helping the boys realign with what they need to do depending on, the stimulus or what they're exposed to, which is the environment, isn't it? Like, there's so many things happening all the time to us with our work, our families, all these micro transitions, and it's hard work. Like, of course, we get the guys fit and strong, but it all comes down to the real estate between the ears, and that's why we love having Drew on board and where you're at. And to get to that, it's pretty amazing how that's worked as well, really, when I look back on how we've come together. But fatherhood, man, like, what's it like? Tell us about, like, when you became a dad, what was it like and up to now?
Okay, well, I always wanted to be a dad. Even growing up, you go, I'll probably be okay at this and look forward to it. And then the reality hits. It's fucking hard work. It's real hard work. And it's more getting your head around what you have to do, not just for yourself, but also for your wife, for the child, for the family as a whole. And then you ride the waves and the troughs of what's going on now. Like, every day is different with a kid, especially when they're really little. Like, one day you go, beauty, I've got their routine nailed, and then the next day they throw you the biggest curveball, and you go, that worked yesterday. I don't understand why are you screaming at me? And so that was really hard. And also being a shift worker for myself, the hardest part was being home a lot and not really having that outlet. I was home. My missus went back to work, and so you just said you're the dad with the kid in the park, the sole dad, and you got all the mums groups, but there's quite a even now, and it's changed a lot since we've had Addison, but even now there's still that stigma, and where blokes, not blokes, but society looks at you like, why are you home with your kid? And even the other day we went to the shops. I'm doing the groceries. We do it every Thursday. And you daddy's babysitting today. And you go, no, I'm not babysitting. I'm being a parent. And it's my child. It's my choice to have a child. I'm not babysitting someone else's kid. It's mine. And that just that mindset the society still has towards it. I really struggled with that when I was especially early days, and even up until she was probably maybe 3. It was hard for me to you'd go out and do things, and even when she was able to go to the bathroom by herself, you go, right, you need to go to toilet, beauty, you go to the carers or the parents' room, and you still looked at what are you doing in here kind of thing, and well, my kid needs support, man, like come on. And so it's more society stuff that I struggled with, and like the different waves that you have to ride with children all the time, because it's, as I say, is every day's a roller coaster, and like her and I'll go toe to toe, and the next day it's like nothing ever happened, or even 10 minutes later you could be screaming at each other 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later it's fine and it's all done, and I love you, daddy, and you go, okay, where'd that come from? It's like a massive gut check out of the history. You just go, wow, I don't understand, but okay. You hated me a minute ago. That's right. And I know it's just going to keep going through that cycle for years, but it's just more trying to get your head in perspective as to what's going on with the kids and that. So I really struggled with that.
Yeah, and it's something we don't really understand, do we? Because we rarely have memories below 5 or 4. But it's unreal the changes they go through. Crazy what they go through. Their hormones, the people think puberty's bad. So, well, what's going through there? Because Stella, my daughter at the moment, is 3. She's on her way, and Lillian's 6 months. So she'll be following suit. And it's just, the change in emotions, like the hormones,
it's great.
The teething, what they go through, the growing pain. It's unreal, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And then you sit there and you think, like, imagine like stuff that happens and the stuff they do. It frustrates you, it frustrates me, it frustrates your wife, and you get there and you go, imagine what it's doing for them. They grow exponentially, especially in that first sort of 2 years. Then they still grow pretty quick after that. But that for so long they just go like they're this big and then they're this big, and then imagine how much agony they'd be in. And they're learning things all the time, and they can see things, and they're tasting things and listening, and you just go, wow, it must just blow their minds.
It's unreal, isn't it? Because they don't know, they don't even know what the concept of patience is. No. They haven't been here as long as us to develop or build out that level of, just sticking it out or seeing it through, or resilience, like I've said earlier. But it's,
they're very little, they're egocentric little beings. And they want it now.
Exactly. I grew up with brothers, so I had no idea when it comes to Stella, and now I got another girl. It's just, I'm not sure what to do except just a few arm curls and keep some weapons in the house. That's about it. For 80 years.
I think I'll be fine. She's got enough spunk that she'll just take down anybody.
That's good. That's what I'm trying to gear Stella up for. To the point where me and Corinne probably feel sorry for the bloke she brings home.
We had that joke at the gym the other day when she sat down at the table, and one of the guys said, what are you going to do when she's 15, 16 and boys are hanging around? I went, I don't have to worry about it. And they go, why? And I went, and I can't remember what I did or what I said, and she bit at me straight away and went, and I went, see? Case in point, I don't need to worry about anything. I feel sorry for the poor bastard who gets there. He wants to have his wits about him.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Cracker. And so I'm curious, those who don't know too much about RDM, it's a coaching group that we have now that's growing, and obviously with RDM, most of you guys know, if you've been following me, what I'm about and the vision behind helping fathers create a shift. And it's just really bizarre how it came about, because Drew's name was always familiar. Like, your name was always familiar. And I think it's because you shared and supported all the CrossFit comps I'd done over the years. And you message me here and there asking questions about it and whatnot, trying to rally people to do it. And
not when you smash Randy.
It's right. Maybe that was it. He saw me once at regionals in tights, and
that was love.
That's right. Yes. Should have worn undies under the tights.
Or courtesy pants.
Yes. And patch the holes at the back. Wear and tear points.
That was a wear and tear.
That's part of the outfit. What it's called, the arseless pants. It's crotchless panties.
Yeah.
But it's it was really funny. And then when RDM started to build and grow, engage more and more with that, and caught up and met in person, and now I'd say the rest is history. But I'd love to just hear on your end, from your perspective, what's drawn you into what's now looking to become, a flourishing movement, and also opportunity to work together to deliver a different scope or lens for dads to see and get the support they need. Like, what led you to that, man? Like, and I'm not saying, why do you like me or love RDM and led to that. I'm not looking for, praise in that respect, but just being drawn towards a vision or a movement or something that you feel connected to.
It's more that, especially being like yourself, a reasonably fit dad, and you see so many people that we went to school with, like our age, and they look 10 years older, or they're overweight. They're going through the motions. Some of them hate life, or they're not that they hate life, but they're just not exactly happy. And RDM is shifting that away from dad bod. Why do you need dad bod? Why can't, if you want to be, why can't you be ripped like like Arnie? If that's what you want, and you can manage to fit that in with the rest of your life, well, then you do it. And it's more about having that dad life balance, so that you're not busted and destroyed at 60. Like, you see so many guys that are, that they're ill, and you can tell by looking in their face, and you go, okay, I haven't seen you in 10 years, but you look sick. And just because you can tell the health in their faces, and they might not be in a good headspace either. And I've lost a few guys that I know to mental issues, and I went, well, there needs to be a way to fix that, and where you've got everything starting to line up, where you have your nutrition, which is tailored to each person. You got your exercise, which is the same, and you get there. And I've seen a lot of your videos where you worked on getting your head right, and it's down, like you do make sure that it's down to them. The person has to have that, not a killer instinct, but they need to have that attitude to get after it themselves, and to make themselves better, and to bring themselves above the line, so they're not just getting sucked into the usual KFC 9 to 5. I'm eating shit, I'm turning out shit, and this is what life's supposed to be like. Life is supposed to be so much better and so much more than that. And that lined up with a lot of stuff. Growing up with my dad, Dad was always really good at getting out there. Every weekend we're always outside doing stuff, whether it was helping him with the yard, or he'd take us on the bikes and all that kind of thing, because Mum worked mostly weekends. So we always made sure that we were fed right, but we'd go out and do fun stuff, and had that balance between sucking the shit sandwich and having a great life. So I got there, and I see so many guys, and being in a bit of a dirty headspace myself when Addison first came along, I see so many people stuck there, and you need to get them people unstuck. And there's so many dads that are just sitting there and going, because you take so much on as a dad. You take on all the stresses of yourself, you take on all the financial stresses of not just yourself but the family, and you take on all the extra stuff that compounds from being a dad. As you know, like, okay, I've been at work for 24 hours, but then I come home and now I've got to put the washing on, now I've got to do this, now I've got to do that. And then if you don't set your mind right, it'll just feel like it just compounds, and everything just gets on top of you, and you go, I don't really enjoy this. And so you go, well, there's an answer here. There's a way out of that, and why can't we help guys turn that around?
Yeah, not to mention lacking that connection as well, mate. Yeah. You see, you got all those roles, and then there's still your relationship. And
exactly. And then how many people do you see that don't really have a relationship with their missus? There's like two ships passing in the night. Or there's plenty of people out there that don't even sleep in the same room, or the dad's asleep on the lounge all night because he's tired from working, and she's put the kids to bed, and all the other stresses have worked on it, and they're like on tenterhooks. So, and I'm incredibly lucky with my wife. We're on the same page for virtually everything, and like we're in a really good place. So we just get there and go, like, why can't everyone have that? I don't understand. And for us, like, we understand that, like, things get in the way, but we go, why isn't everyone like that? You have your ups and downs, but essentially you're still you guys, and you're still you're still you, and you're still the couple, and you're still the partner, and then you're also now a dad. But there's no reason why that all can't meld in together and become one, rather than having it all split up all over the place and you're not happy with anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and there's some hard truths too, man. Like like I don't cop that much flack. Sometimes I do with some of my ads or my videos when I talk about not having sex, not respecting yourself, or looking in the mirror and feeling like a flop, and all these different things. Like, this is real, man. Like, I'm going off the data. Like, when I'm having conversations and talking to dads, and a lot of them are in tears and breaking down about their whole life, it's like, well, this is the shake up or shake down in shifting the state, and not just being the whole, yeah, you're okay. It's just it just is what it is, and accepting that instead of going, like you said, the time it comes around, you're 60, you're falling apart, or marriages have broken down. Did they need to? You know, you're living a life with regret. Did you need to? You're not connected with your kids who are now either teenagers or adults. Did it have to be that way? No, not necessarily. You know. And this is for 99%. There's always variables and things we don't control, but for 99.99% of it, mate, there's always a way. And it's funny, like, I'm 34. I think you just turned 38. Yeah. I'm 34, and some people look at, yeah, you're 34, you're still young, eh? Well, yeah, you might be 50 or 60. Do you remember when you were 34? Yeah, you do. That's how quick it is. I already know how quick it's going to go, and it's probably going to go even quicker than that. Oh, yeah. Like, it's going to fly. You know, yeah. Like, we have pretty good, because we're in it all the time, with shifting the real estate and the 6 inches between the ears and whatnot. And I've got a pretty good understanding of myself and awareness and realising the value of time. And I, like, to the nth degree, and I still feel that's off the mark. Oh, yeah. Look at all these other people. It's just, just become in the rut, and you just, you're just a dad. Well, no, you're a man who has all these additional pressures and burdens, and now life's falling apart. And what do you do? And credit to you, mate, for seeing that gap and looking to want to, move into a space where it's something that needs to be done and said. Where I don't know about you, but I personally don't feel there's enough out there for dads with real impact.
Not really, no. There's nothing really, except for maybe a few places where you can go and have an event, but there's no actual way of going, okay, what can we do to help you fix that? What can we, like you say, you might be 20 kilos overweight, you've got no energy, so you go to the gym, but what about the rest of the stuff that goes along behind that as well? So they've only fixed one part of that. Or you go and catch up, and you might have a dozen blokes that go and have a barbie every week or every fortnight. Okay, but you're only having a barbie, and you just have an event and having a bitch about your kids and misses and your situation. You're not actually there's no plan in place to make that greater and change that. So that in 2 weeks' time, you come back and you're still pissing and moaning about the same stuff. So there's got to be something more done to be able to go, okay, put my hand up. I'm a little overweight. I'm a little like my head space isn't good. Mrs. and I don't talk enough. We don't connect. We don't communicate. I've got the shits with the kids. I'm not happy with my job and all that sort of stuff. Why can't you change it? Why do you have to be happy? Or it's happy because you're not happy. Why do I need to do that just because society has turned it into that? Why can't I be great? Why can't I go, okay, you know what, bang, yep, I've lost that weight, but now my mental state still isn't great, or I'm still not communicating with the missus or whatever. So going to the gym's fine, but that's only got me part of the way there. It's a full journey to come full around. Yeah. And as you know, like if the motivation drops off, then the gym drops off. Yeah. And the gym drops off, then you're back around the same cycle, and you're back in the pit where you were. And so all the work you've done to climb out, because it's only one rung of the ladder, you slip back down again. So
it's a great way to explain it. So true as well, because you could flip that and go, okay, I don't even do any training, but I really work on myself mentally, and I'm in a really good place mentally. But how long can you hold on to that? If you're, and I don't care how much people weigh, but if you're 20, 30, 40 kilos overweight, physiologically, you're not tapping into what you can become, and your energy output and everything lacks. Might be better than when you were 60 kilos overweight. Still not going to put you in an optimal level of being. And when that temporary motivation, looking up quotes or watching some YouTube clips. When that borrowed certainty disappears, the shell is just remaining with something that, again, like you said, you've only squared away one place and it's come back and I'm back to the old person or the old version. And that's a big thing, mate. And that the reason why RDM is the best, and I'm not saying, and this isn't opinions, it's results of what we're doing, is because we listen. Like everything you guys see out there is a result and feedback from data. Like I'm listening. We can do training programs. I was speaking to you about this earlier. We can employ the best nutritionists in the country and they can prescribe something. Is the dad going to action it? Yeah, have you connected? Do you know what time he wakes up, when he goes to sleep, what he does for work? When is he going to do some exercise? Morning, night? How's his body? What's his circumstances right now? You know, like when you listen and you look at all that, you gear everything around what's necessary. And with the dads, we've got an amazing approach with the nutrition, which is unique, and it's everything in how it's encompassed around their life, which means it's personalized and achievable based on the stage of where they're at, based on what they weigh, the results, the outcomes, what they're looking to achieve. Yeah. Which means I don't need a degree in dietetics or be a naturopath or nutritionist to understand that it comes down to connection, right? And when you get that connection and there's purpose behind that connection and context, like you said, you can square away all areas. Not just get fit in the gym, but your home life still sucks. Yeah. You don't understand what it means to enter different environments and you can't connect with the missus and you've got a short temper and it's all of it. And that's what we encompass. And how have you found RDM so far from a coach's point of view in seeing what we do, what you do, and also so much of what's left to be done as well?
Oh, yeah. There is a lot to do. There's a lot of work there, working with the guys to get them to a point where they're consistently going to be kicking goals. And even to the point where there's days that the guys have flat spots and they go, man, I'm not sure if this is for me. And you go, okay, but just stop and look back where you were. Like you're having a bad day today, but look at where you were 12 months ago. How does that compare to where you are today? And they go, oh, well, yeah, you're right. It's amazing. And you go, well, okay, so something's working. Yep, beauty. And I like getting the feedback from reading all the data and when the guys put their entries and stuff in to be able to say, okay, you know what, I had a bad week this week with my food, but I'm picking it up now. And then even with the mindset stuff, and they go, oh, I really struggled this week with this, but I've also identified from what we've been talking about and the videos and all that sort of stuff, that if I do this, then it starts to pick up. Or I've actually tried this technique in my training and that's what's happened. I've noticed a massive change here, and even just positive mindset change. And even if it's only once a day, it's enough that the guys are going, oh, actually, this is okay. This is good. And that's when I sit back and I'll read that and I go, yes, they're getting above the line. This is amazing. They're not sitting there getting sucked into the pit because they're going, no, you know what? I've had a bad day. I've taken the hit, and now I know how to be a bit more resilient and get through it. And watching the guys just smashing their training, and guys that want to lose weight, their main goal is to lose weight, and they're losing a heap of weight. But then they're backing that up by building muscle and that kind of thing too. And guys that are not only cleaning up their own diets, but that's flowing back through to the family. So that way, the next generation now is going to be a lot healthier straight away, because they're not eating at McDonald's 27 times a week. They're not eating at KFC. It's okay for once every so often, but you need to make sure that you got a decent diet, cleanish. You can still have little bits and pieces here and there if you wish, but the idea is context and being able to put to build that standard. We'll call it the gold standard, where you want to be able to show the kids and their kids and the generations after that how to like be human and be decent humans. Pardon me, because like our time is only 60 to 100 years, if that. So you want to be able to get as much good done in that time as you can, and enjoy it, rather than, like you said before, looking back with the regrets and going, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I wasn't happy with this. Well, why do you not have to be happy? Why can't you just go, okay, I can change something here? Whether it's I'm happy with your job, okay, I'll change jobs. And as long as you've got a plan in place so that you don't struggle financially, you go, okay, well, we're going to change shops. And bam, I'm not happy with my weight. I'm going to change that. I'm not happy with how I think and feel about myself or with the family. I'm going to change that. I'm not happy with the environment that I live or the environmental relationships in different places. And you go, well, okay, so what can I do to change that? If you can't change that, how can you change your own mindset towards something that you can't change? And then that in turn then shifts so that you go, okay, well, I have to accept that because I can't change that, but I can change the way I think of it and feel about it too. And so then it's a full cycle to come back around.
Reckon people can do that on their own?
No. I know I haven't. Yeah. I've had to put my hand up and go, mate, I need help and gone and seen a counsellor about different things that I've had and then plus, which then in turn made me look for a better network of people to confide in and all that kind of thing too. So you got to pick the right people. If you pick someone who lives their life below the line, cruising along, going, yeah, but what about this and what about that, and sucks you down even further. Well, they're not someone that you need to confide in. You need just someone that is happy to be able to give you advice, but from a different perspective where you're not in at that point. Like a higher perspective.
Spot on, mate. On the money with that, absolutely. And that's something where I'm going to do a podcast episode shortly about tribes and environment and how important that is as well. But you hit the nail on the head there. I took the words out of my mouth. I was going to talk about standards. Standards, man. And yeah, you're right. Like, do you want to have 60 years of impact and influence in this world? I want to have 600 years. Doesn't mean I need to physically be here for that. I want to have 600 years of impact. How about the next 5 generations? You know, and... well, 6 generations unless they become superhuman and live for 120 years. And it's, mate, a big part of life is about standards, you know, and we reach down and we will help pull you up, but pull you up to a higher standard of being because we are a byproduct physically and mentally of the standards that we set in ourselves. And they can change. You can shift a view of what your standard can and could be and your perception of a standard. But for me, maintaining, like you said, through yourself consistently is what truly defines what your standard is, not just for yourself, like you said, for your children, what you're passing down, and that gold standard, that's our monthly mission in our group, actually. Standards and excellence. They are the 2 buzzwords, the 2 keys that we're focusing on this month to go, you're here right now, you're all in your own evolutionary journey, but this is the standard that we hit. Do you need to jump to there in one step? No, we'll show you the way, and your way is different to all these other ways with the underlying principles and foundations that become the tribe, the community. And that's something that's, I don't know, man, like I said, we listen. I listen. I've trained dads. I'm old school. You know, I've got older brothers. So when I started PTing at 17, I trained dads. You know? Even though I wasn't one myself, then I become one. I was like, shit. So I've listened for over 20 years, as well as obviously having a father and being around lots in the gym. And that's why I see it as a whole thing, which you obviously understand, and you do see it now. You're in the trenches with us, and it's not just one aspect, is it?
No,
it's everything.
It all interflows in together. You can't have one bit without the other.
And that's where, like I said earlier, I just see a big gap, and I think there's a space there right now. Not to things like political correctness or maybe some of the extremities of feminism, but then also what a lot of the minorities, small, very, very small portion of men did in the 20th century as well. But looking at it all across that, plus our fathers' fathers and their fathers hitting them and beating them and telling them not to be a little bitch and don't cry has led to it being a very tough landscape to navigate in the modern world as a man, but then extra. Again, as a father. And I think personally that's why it almost seems to me like no one's really taken the bull by the horns and run with it, which is why you can see what we do as coaches is maintain that level of tenacity and standard, first by example, second by showing, and third by the father discovering. This isn't just telling you, or lecturing. And by holding that standard, we can break through, but it's not easy, which is why I'm not doing it alone as well, mate.
And that standard, you might set the standard here today, but over time and discipline, the standard's going to be there. So your line's just going to exponentially go up. And everything else underneath that, you're going to kind of get there and go, I don't have time to delve and get sucked into that anymore because it just brings you up that little bit further.
Yeah, it certainly does, mate. And I love having you in the team with the coaches as well. Got a good coaching crew, and you know, what's something that you want to achieve? Like, I'd love to talk about a personal goal, and we'll wrap up this episode, mate. It's been awesome having you. But something personal that you want to achieve within yourself, and maybe with RDM as well, but moving forward over the next 12 months.
Next 12 months is to help as many blokes out as I can, and to help get that, to break that cycle and get them to a better place, and to be able to understand that they need to be accountable for their own actions and accountable for their own training and all that kind of thing. But there's also support there for them if they ever need it as well. So you're not just going, oh man, I can't, like you might have a shit day and you go, I can't do this anymore. And you go, you can. And then you go, I'll tell you why you can, because tomorrow's another day and there's another opportunity to go and chase stuff. And then rather than getting sucked back down the drain, keep your accountability high, stay above that line, and work from there. So, and like we mentioned before, like you go, okay, I'm having a bad day today, but where was I 12 months ago? Your bad day line has already jumped up. So rather than being here where your bad day line was before, now here is a bad day, but you've already grown that much in that time.
Yeah, like your bad day's higher than what your best day was 12 months.
I
get
it.
Now.
So then you that in turn creates a better and a more functional society. You have a little bit less. Well, there's going to be a lot less sickness, and even environmental awareness and all that kind of thing. And have people that are more attuned to not just their own bodies, but how they interact with everyone else as well. So rather than having massive fights at the lights like they do, especially in Sydney, where that guy cut me off and now the light's red, so what am I going to do? I'll go and punch him in the face. Maybe sit back and go, okay, maybe he didn't see you. Maybe there's a reason why he did that, or like, he's not just being a jerk for the sake of being a jerk. There's been a whole cascade of things to get to that point. So just be more aware of that. Pardon me. Just to kind of be more aware that you're not the only being on the planet, and so you're there to set an example for the new ones coming through to be better again.
Absolutely, mate. That's something that will certainly have impact and be reached from that ripple effect through, like I said, helping as many fathers as we can break through the right way. Like, this isn't a social group where we get 10,000 together.
No, it's not kumbaya in the park. If you need a hug, I'll give you a hug, but I'll also give you advice on how to fix it.
That's right. Yeah. Give you some hard truths that you need.
Yeah. 12 months later, if we have the same conversation, I'll go, why are you still crying?
That's right. That's right.
I'll give you a hug now. If we have the same conversation in 12 months, why are you crying?
That's right.
I've given you help.
That's right.
And you've done nothing.
Exactly. Mate, it's been good having you on, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you guys got
very much.
Got a lot out of this. Do you have any, actually, to finish up, do you have any funny or bizarre stories from the fireys? Something that was just real funny or stuck out, or just a cracker? Or
some stuff we've got to keep confidential.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You do come across some weird things that people have been doing to each other, and also some weird toys and things, and you go, okay. I try to think that I have an open mind, and then sometimes you go to work and you get a call and you go, oh wow. Okay, maybe I live in a cave. I'm not sure, but you just get there and go, yeah, that was interesting. But, there's definitely some funny stories I can tell you off air.
The point of that is, guys, that there's only one way to truly toast a marshmallow. Stick with that. Craig, thanks again for jumping on, mate.
No worries.
It's been awesome. Been good having you. And thanks for tuning in, guys, whether you watch this or listen to it. I hope you had a great time and had a ball. Reach out if there's anything you need. Or, you know what, if you're a guy out there who's looking to join the Fireys and you're just struggling and not sure what you need, don't have to be a father. But if you ever want some advice or need help or anything, sing out, contact us through RDM, and I'll happily chat to Drew about it if it's something you want to link up with to get some advice from the main man, the expert, then I'm sure he'd be happy to help out. But
the expert's a grip under pressure.
Yeah, that's right. But cracker. But look, enjoy this, mate. It's been good. It's been good chatting to you about all things related to your life and your journey as well.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It'd be fascinating, mate. Thanks, guys. Have a good day, night, afternoon, weekend, whenever you listen to this. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Is it? Oh, it's the sign off.
Stay frosty.
Stay
frosty.
It says in the Dad's Burger, stay frosty. That doesn't mean eat frosties. Stella had Fruit Loops the other day. I was like, it's amazing. Give me some. Killer. Anyway, thanks guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.